Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to talk with our Healthy Families consultant, Alvean Lyons, about something that isn't about children. It's about our primary relationship, our spouse, our partner, our boyfriend, our girlfriend, and how we can make that better. Welcome back, Alvean. How are you?
Thanks, Robin. Excited about this.
It's a great topic to have for Valentine's Day, isn't
I think
it?
so too. I think so too, especially considering that we just started 2015. So we've had all our resolutions that most of us have already broken, mind you.
I say I haven't gotten to them yet. I'm not going to admit failure.
Well, they say by the 5th week of the year, 80% of people have already destroyed their New Year's resolutions by week 5. So we're past that at this point. So we might be up to 85% of people who are already decided to forego all of this. But with Valentine's Day around the corner, we're going to talk about being able to build things in a great way in our relationships. So we'll use Valentine's Day the way that we use New Year's. That we use New Year's to kind of make some decisions about things we're going to do different for the entire year. What if we look at Valentine's Day as the perfect opportunity and catalyst to do things different in our relationship for the whole year, as opposed to it just being about that day?
See, I like that because so many people don't like that day. It's overdone, it's prescribed by other people,
Absolutely.
There's all these expectations. It's, I like to ignore it. But
I'm with you. I have to be very honest.
But to use it for the bigger picture, that's a good twist.
Yeah, let's use it as a springboard instead. So it's not a destination. We're working so hard to prove on this one day out of 364 others that we really love our partner. And I think that's just way too much unnecessary pressure to put on a single day.
Yeah, you can't win.
You can't. So why don't we turn it into something as that's day one of the rest of the year instead? So it gives us this kind of jolt into, oh yeah, let me remember that I have a significant other. I have somebody important in my life that I want them to know that I love them, that they matter to me, that I see them, that I hear them. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity to really begin to reinvest in the ways in which we communicate that throughout the year.
And that's important for so many of us who maybe get lost in the focus on the kids or the focus on the job or taking care of parents or whatever else it is in our lives.
Absolutely.
You let that relationship, which kind of ought to be your primary one, slide.
And I love that you said the word primary, because it really is that.
I learned that from you.
Thank you. It really is that. We forget that the relationship, that adult relationship, is very often the foundation that all the other things rest on. Mm-hmm. So if we let that get shaky, it's very hard to build the rest of the stuff. So even though we promise we're not going to talk about kids, the one thing I will say is when you have healthy partnerships, it really does help create healthy families, and your kids benefit from that, which is why with healthy families, we also want to make sure that that element is taken care of too. It's not just, are you doing everything perfect as a parent? Well, you're still part of a team. How are you doing in your team? How's the team feeling about each other? And Valentine's Day is that perfect opportunity for us to really start to reinvest in that.
And that's why it's not about just flowers and candy and heart shapes.
Not at all, because those things come and they go, and you don't even know that they happened. So we're going to think about Valentine's Day as the perfect opportunity to give your relationship a bump.
A bump.
A bump, okay? So it's the little things that we do consistently that make the biggest difference in our relationships. So I love the acronyms. So of course these have meanings to them. So the first one is B, billboard. Be a billboard for your partner. Most people would know, what in the world does she mean when she says be a billboard?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, you ready? So it is proven that people love to hear good things about themselves through their partner. And if we think about billboards are advertisements for products that somebody believes in. Well, if we do that same thing with our partners, being a billboard for our partners, being able to step out there and say good things about them. Get caught by accident complimenting your partner. saying something fantastic about something small even that they do. I love it when he does this. I love it when she does that. You know, she's great at so-and-so. And purposely making it so that every once in a while your partner gets to overhear you talking about them in that kind of way. There's something really fantastic about having your partner think highly of you and being able to hear it. Sometimes we think our partners know these things already.
Exactly, they do.
We just assume,
Yeah.
you know, that, oh, she knows I love her. You know, I would give my left leg for her in a heartbeat. She knows those things. But does she really? Because there are things that we think people know based on assumption, which is very different than what people actively feel. And love is a verb, it's action. We have to stay in that active part of our relationship. It's the thing that makes people feel passionate. The reason why a lot of long-term relationships go through those lulls is because we stop being active in our pursuits of each other. And it's part of the reason why people look for other people who are brand new, because when it's brand new, we're fresh and active again. Yeah. And it's not that it's a better person. It's just that we're back in the activity mode of it. We're back in the proactivity. Well, you can do that with a relationship that deserves it, your long-term partner. So be the billboard again. Start saying nice things again. And what's funny is in the psychology, when you hear yourself, over time, you believe what you're saying. So if you say nice things over and over again, it actually creates a reaction not only in your partner, but it also creates one in you. So be a billboard for your partner.
Okay, it's a reminder too. Like,
Absolutely.
You might have all those things in your long-term memory, but when you're saying them, it is. You're reminding yourself, you're reminding that person.
It's true, and you can fall back in love doing those things. You're hearing your own voice say great things about the person you care deeply about. It does not take long before you start to feel those feelings because they follow each other. So it works in lots of ways. So be a billboard.
Billboard, okay.
Next, you. Be an umbrella. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What would you think I mean when I say that?
A shelter from the crap.
Very good. Very good.
Protect them.
Absolutely. Intimacy is based on a place where it's safe to be vulnerable. An umbrella keeps us sheltered from the rain. Well, if we think of the negativity that exists outside, the things that each of us have to go through every day, the feelings that we may struggle with from whatever may be left over from experiences we've had in the past, our own personal insecurities, all of those things, if you think of those things like rain, you have to be an umbrella for your partner. The place where they can go, be their full selves, and be safe. That I'm protected in this relationship. I can be me and not have to worry about in this space there being a problem with all of me showing up. An umbrella has a way of making us feel protected. Our partnerships should include an element of protection in them. That I don't have to be the perfect man. I don't have to be the perfect woman. I don't always have to try to look like a supermodel. I don't always have to be the most affluent man in the world who's providing for their family at these levels and can buy their wives everything, to feel like I can be all of those things with you. I can be all of that because you see the best in me. And with you, I am protected from all of the things that are around me. It is safe for me to be vulnerable. And if we're an umbrella for our partner, we create that space, and intimacy is born in that space, emotional and physical intimacy.
Mm-hmm. You can't have one without the other, I think.
You cannot. You can have interaction, but you're not having intimacy. Intimacy requires trust, and trust is only possible in a space that we know that we can be vulnerable. So we want to make sure that we are the umbrella.
Gotcha.
Then M, be a mirror. Okay, so most people would think, when I say be a mirror, you are reflecting back to your partner exactly who they are. But that's not what I mean. I actually mean reflect back to your partner the best parts of who they are. Part of the reason that people cheat, because for years, I worked with lots of couples working through some infidelity issues. And regardless of the age and the circumstances, what was consistently found is that people were always looking for a relationship that made them feel like the them they wanted to be. They were attractive, they were desirable, they were seen as movers and shakers and whatever it was, they were looking for a particular image to be reflected back to them in the eyes of that person. And the marriages and relationships that had the deepest levels of intimacy and connection were relationships that the reflection to the partner was always their best self. Now, that doesn't mean that your partner doesn't make mistakes and that you don't talk about those mistakes and you don't address those issues. But what it means is that your default zone is always the best of that person. So when they look at you, they see reflected in your eyes their best self in your mirror. And if we're a mirror for our partners in that kind of way, they don't have to go around looking for someone else to make them feel great because they get that from you.
Now, I think that's going to be the hard one for a lot of people because I think once, it's easy to be focused on the flaws or the problems or the things you want to be better.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's a conscious decision. It is a conscious decision. If we give to our partners what we wish we can get from our partners, we'd have very different relationships.
And that is where I think it helps people make that transition where you start to say, how do I want the other person to treat me?
Exactly.
And then can I do that better?
For them. Because a lot of times people think, okay, well, if they do this, then I will start doing this. When in fact, the fastest way to get them to start doing the thing you want is for you to already be doing the thing that they want, which seems a little counterintuitive, but it's actually one of the most effective ways to do things. You have to be what you want. You have to put out what you want to get back.
And somebody has to start. You can't both be
exactly,
sitting back waiting for the other one.
Like we're playing a game of chicken.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is the relationship suffers.
Right.
But if one of us just takes that leap, I'm going to, by faith, trust that if I give this positive seed, if I plant this positive seed, that there will be a positive harvest from that at some point. And assuming that the person you chose is a good person and genuinely cares about you, sooner or later, you could be pretty sure it's going to happen. Because everybody likes to feel good. And when you make me feel good, I behave differently. And my better behavior makes you feel better. So before we know it, it just becomes this cycle. You're giving and you're getting, you're getting and you're giving. But one of us has to decide that we're going to do it. We're going to be the first ones to do it. Be the first to say sorry. Be the first to reach out. When you have a moment of, sort of tension, be the first to touch the other. As opposed to, I'm going to freeze you out until I feel like your apologies have been sufficient enough. Instead of doing that, be the first to break the silence. Those things change the trajectory of relationships, and they also shorten the duration of conflict. Because once you make me feel good feelings again, it's hard to be mad at you. So let's not get stuck in doing the old things we've always been doing, because we're going to keep getting the old things we've always been getting. Doing things a little differently changes how we get our outcomes or what those outcomes are going to look like. So be the mirror, but reflect back to your partner their best self. And then finally, P, be a playground. We forget how important it is to just have fun.
Yeah, that shouldn't be hard, but it is because there's work to do. There's things that have to be done. There's sometimes emotional baggage over who's going to do those things. So we fight about them instead of
finding other ways to lighten it up. We can't lose the innocence of a relationship just because we've had it for so long. I've been married for almost 20 years, literally. And we still joke and act completely ridiculous as often as possible because it makes us feel youthful in the relationship still. Being able to laugh at yourself. And that's the important thing, not just laughing at your partner, but can you laugh at yourself? Because sometimes we're ridiculous. Sometimes we're whining about things, and if you really stop and listen to yourself, it's ridiculous. Just laugh at yourself. It's okay. You sound insane. It's okay. But we all have those moments. And then just the sound of laughter just literally draws the defense mechanisms and the stress and the barriers that we put up. It just begins to pull those down. We relax when we laugh. The endorphins are released in the brain, the serotonin, all of that. We really take a bath in good feelings when we're laughing. We have to be able to be playful, be spontaneous. Don't get it all right on purpose sometimes. Make a mess. You're cooking and just make a mess. It's okay. And then clean it up together so nobody has to do the dishes right themselves. But have a good time. We stop being playgrounds because we're grown-ups. And as a result, when we get sick, it lasts longer. When we have stressful situations, we have harder times getting through the stress. We don't have the same level of resilience that children do, all because our perspective is different. We're not any different than children. We're just progressive versions of them. But because life has happened, we have lost our ability to relax in tough situations. We have lost our ability to just be spontaneous and not think about all the other things that are on the list of things to do. We're always thinking about tomorrow instead of being in the moment. And all we really have is right now. So kids, the reason they heal so quickly when they get sick is because they're not thinking about being sick forever. They're not planning on that.
And they're not worrying about what they're not doing while they're sick. And they will have to do
not
when
at
they
all.
get better.
All they're thinking about is how soon can I get back to playing? We need to do more of that in our relationships. Instead of thinking about all the things that could go wrong, might go wrong, will go wrong, Murphy's Law, just play. Have some fun, enjoy each other. And all of those things bring back the richness and the fun of being in love, regardless of how long you've been together.
I think when you said playground, I didn't realize you were going to go for laughing, and my mind went to that sort of date night. Get out, do things, whatever it is you did when you were first dating, whether it's music, whether it's picnics, whether it's hikes in the woods, but redo those things you have always enjoyed that you get away from when you're busy or
totally.
other things.
And whatever it is that's fun for you. It may be something as simple as let's turn on music when we're cooking and spontaneously dance. Let's look totally and completely ridiculous, but have a fantastic time together. That's a playground. You're making your relationship into a place where you have fun. That's what it's really about. Let's reinvest in the fun of being together again. There's no need to be searching for other relationships when you have those things in your own. But we have to make the effort and we have to make the investment in order for those things to be possible. We've got to bump it up a little bit. And Valentine's Day is the perfect time to begin that process. Let that be your resolution.
Got it. All right, I'll do that. That sounds a lot more fun than, what society wants Valentine's to be.
And spending all that unnecessary money and then getting in debt. Unnecessary. Just unnecessary.
Right.
Instead, give it a little bump. So what's the bump?
Give it a little bump. And I like this because these are all nouns. These are all things that I, can be. So a billboard.
Absolutely. Say good things about your partner.
An umbrella.
Be a safe place. Absolutely.
A mirror, but a special Sleeping Beauty is it Sleeping Beauty? Whatever. The mirror that reflects back the good stuff.
The best parts of who they are when they look at themselves through you.
And then playground.
Be a playground. Have fun together. And make it however you want to make it.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that advice. I'm going to go try it.
Bump it up.
And I hope you'll try it too as Valentine's Day approaches or any time of the year. Think of this as an opportunity to reinvest in your relationship with your partner and try the Bump It Up acronym. Thanks for watching.